Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rise of Kingdom videos. My name is Legend Ronnie and today we are going to talk about the update on the garrison. This is something that most of you have requested from me to update the video about the garrison, or what is about the new update, because there was like one paragraph that was filled up with just garrison update. Well, I'm gonna bring you the good news. The garrison talents now work everywhere. So the garrison talents, they work in your flag, they work in your fortress, they work in your sanctuary, they work everywhere you want to use them in your city. And this might sound really crazy when I tell you, because you're probably going to ask me, what about Kingsguard? It says here no effect when garrisoning cities. This is the reason I took time to do this particular video, is because it takes a long time to talk with the support, with in-game support. You guys know, send them a message, they reply you 24 hours after. You send them again a message because the translation is a bit of a problem until they understand. And I finally found out that it actually works in the city as well. So the garrison talents, they made them, they work everywhere where it mentions garrison. So Kingsguard works in the city as well. There's just a description problem over there, which hopefully they're gonna fix it in the future. Now, going forward with the video, there aren't many garrison commanders. There's obviously Charles Martel, YSG, there is Sun Tzu, we have Herman, we have Pelagius, we have Eulji Mundok, who else we have? We have Kusunoki, we have Richard the First. Is there any other garrison commander? And we have Constantine the First, which is kinda unique when it comes to Constantine the First, because he is the first one that has the support talentry and garrison talentry all together. But we're gonna leave Constantine for the last, because again, he is a special case. Not everyone has Constantine. The first ones that I'm gonna talk about is all the commanders that have garrison and skill. So I'm gonna show you a picture which I uploaded it on my Discord as well. Plus on the Discord you'll find the updated pictures with the talent trees from all the commanders that I used during the videos. People have requested this from me to update Discord with that, so I've done it. Now I'm gonna show this picture, and this is the talent tree that I advise for your city. So this is the talent tree that I advise for your city on any commander that has garrison and any commander that has skill. So you're noticing that I've done the nuke part and I've done the garrison part all together. I even have adamantine walls, and we're gonna get to that as well, because we did mention in the previous video, Watchtower doesn't actually last for very long. Well, I believe that in the newest update things have been changed a little bit. Right, so for your city protection, anything that has skill and garrison, this is how I would advise it for you to build it up. Okay, now we take this out of the way, and I'm gonna go, for example, Samson. Now you're noticing on Samson that there is a slightly modification. I don't have adamantine walls, I don't have nowhere to turn, but I have Call of the Pack. So you're probably wondering why I have Call of the Pack. Well, there is a good question. The reason I have Call of the Pack is because this build, it's good for my city, but it's also good on defending in the garrison of a flag or a fortress or any other buildings like that. I'm a T5 player, you know, I'm also the king in the kingdom, so I pretty much can stack up all the stats possible. So I'm most likely going to defend buildings if it comes to a war, or I don't know, various other events where is needed defense, and I can use all these stats that I can stack up. So this is the reason I have the Call of the Pack. The reason why is Call of the Pack, because once your march gets to 50%, it says over here, increase the 50% strength, increase defense of all troops. So it doesn't matter which troops you have in garrison. Obviously, when you're garrisoning a flag or including your city, you have mix of troops. So increasing the defense of all your troops, it means all of them get 6% defense. But how is that helping you? Well, when you defend a flag or when you defend a fortress, they receive reinforcements. But your march is still going under 50%. The troops in that garrison, it's at the limit all the time because you keep getting reinforcements. But Call of the Pack applies. So that way, once your march gets to 50%, you have full garrison with extra 6% defense on all your troops. So that is the main reason why my Sun Tzu is built this way with Call of the Pack. And any other commander that you're gonna see, I'm gonna show YSG. YSG is built similar as Sun Tzu for that particular reason, for defending objectives like fortress, flags, or various other objectives in the game. For your city, you need adamantine walls and nowhere to turn. You need as small range as possible, so that way you don't have to wait for your city to get to 50% to benefit from that talent. Because your city can receive reinforcements, but it's limited. It's limited amount of reinforcements you can receive, and at some point it can actually go down. So that's why you benefit more for your city having nowhere to turn or adamantine walls, protecting your watchtower for as long as it lasts before it goes away, and generating more rage for as much as possible so you can keep pounding your enemies while you still have a full capacity in your city, rather than waiting for your city to get to 50% to actually get some defense bonus or attack bonus that YSG has. YSG has similar as Call of the Pack, but it just grants attack. So again, for your city, use the picture that I showed you with the adamantine walls and nowhere to turn. You'll find that picture on my Discord. This is for garrison and skill commander. Any commander that has garrison and skill, and that can include Herman, that can include Pelagius as well. Obviously YSG, and I'm not sure if there is anyone else. Right, I mentioned about adamantine walls that I'm gonna say a little bit longer. You know, we have the expedition stages right now, which is city attacking and city defending. Now in the city defending, I'm not sure if many of you noticed, but the watchtower, it doesn't actually go down really fast. Before the update, watchtower was next to 0. Watchtower meant nothing. It was going down in the first 10 turns or the first couple of turns, because the watchtower was the first thing to absorb damage. So one rally on your city and the watchtower is gone. Even if the rally gets disbanded at some point, your watchtower is still gone. So I can tell you that for sure, because I've been rallied as well. I've checked the report, and the watchtower just go down, because the watchtower was designed to absorb the first damage, like all of it, to protect your troops. So it was doing that, but it was going down really fast, and obviously doesn't regenerate that fast back. So the way they design it, you guys can test it on the expedition in the defense mode. The way they design it is that it goes from the watchtower and your troops in the same time, offering a small protection to your troops. I'm not sure, maybe something like 30% protection to your troops. So like 30% goes from the watchtower and the rest goes from your troops. I'm not entirely sure which is the exact number, but the watchtower decreases in the same time with your troops until it runs out. So when you're about, I'm not sure, 70 or 60% troops, the watchtower is gone. So now the watchtower lasts for way longer than it used to. So now adamantine walls actually has a role in defending your city. Obviously, it would not be advisable once your watchtower has been going down to keep staying there and taking rallies. I would not really advise that. If they manage to take down your watchtower, or if they manage to take your garrison down all the way, you might just bubble, or you might just want to teleport away. So I said that I'm gonna show the YSG as well. The reason I have YSG the same way as Sun Tzu is for the same reason, is because I'm definitely gonna defend not just my city. I'm definitely gonna defend flags and fortresses when it's an event like Lost Kingdom, for example. So I need this particular type of bonuses like arrows knocked, which increase attack of all troops by 9%. Again, I explained you on the other one. When you're defending a flag, your march goes under 50% strength, and then all the troops in the flag gains this 9%. I know it sounds pretty broken, but I'm not sure if they can fix it otherwise, because you're the main defender. So as long as your troops get something, all the troops get something, because the all defense copies your stats. You know, that's how it works. That's how the system works, and that's why LCD is broken as well in Lost Kingdom, and not much they can do about him as well. And for that reason, I have this one. If I would have to defend my city with YSG, I would prefer to have adamantine walls or nowhere to turn rather than have this tree, because you're not benefiting from this talent until your city goes to 50%. So these 6 talent points, they are pretty much dead until your city is under 50%, while having nowhere to turn or adamantine walls could actually give you way more bonuses to deal more damage, survive longer, or take more damage before you get to 50%. Right, now I mentioned that any other commander, the picture that I showed you on the first, so you can do the same picture on Hermann and Pelagius. There can be a slightly modification if you want to defend your city for Pelagius and Hermann. I haven't drawn a picture for that, but I have done the build on Pelagius. So for example, if you want to defend with Pelagius, which is very vulnerable, that means that Pelagius is going to be the primary defense commander, so he's very vulnerable on swarming. So for that reason, if you want to defend something or any objectives with Pelagius or Hermann, you would definitely want to get Know Thy Enemy. You definitely want to get that, and Divine Favor, hopefully that it works now. To reduce the damage if you get swarmed, because he's one of those commanders, him and Hermann, they are 2 commanders that people would just tend to swarm them when they see which commanders are actually defending. And then you have the skill pad, so you have the most important part of the skill pad. He has a pretty decent amount of rage regeneration, so skipping Feral Nature might not be so bad. Again, it needs testing, to tell you the truth, it needs testing if it's actually good or not, but this would give you a small protection if you get swarmed. And I will do the same for Hermann. They both have rage restoration abilities, have 10% chance to grant an additional 100 rage, so they both have rage restoration. Pelagius has with primary, so skipping Feral Nature with them might not actually be that bad. Sansu does AoE damage, YSG does AoE damage, so it's not like they are the type of commanders that you know, people will actually want to swarm them. Right, Eulji Mundok. Eulji Mundok is not skill and is not what you expect. So he has garrison and attack. Anyway, I lost it there, I do apologize. So let's go to the talents, and these are his infantry talents, and let's go to the garrison talents. Now he is one commander that he doesn't pretty much have much options except just going with the full garrison talents, although he's kind of an anti-swarm commander, so it's not like he's the type of commander that you want to swarm if he's in the garrison. The reason I'm saying that, so if he's the leading garrison, is because of his 4 skill. When attacked, is mentioned here, when attacked, Eulji Mundok has a 10% chance to increase his own troops damage by 100% when he's maxed out. So that means that if people are actually swarming on Eulji Mundok, he's not just very defensive, because obviously he has garrison and he has the infantry talents, but you just grant him more chances to keep giving you 100% damage each turn, so you're just basically hurting yourself by swarming an Eugimundok. And because it's not much options how you can go with his talent builds, you obviously have to do the full talent build, because there's pretty much nowhere else to put the talent points. So it's not like you have options to do this and that. Obviously there is Call of the Pack, but again you need to wait to get under 50% to actually start benefiting from the talents, which it might be too late for your city. Increase counterattack damage dealt, reduce all damage, and you might say that might be an option for Martial Mastery, but if you're gonna use Eugimundok as a defense commander, either your city or a garrison in a flag or whatever, you don't want to decrease the active skill damage. You don't want to do that, because the more troops there are defending in your city or in the objective that you are defending, the more damage Eugimundok will do with his primary skill. So this last thing that you want to do is decreasing his active skill damage. You might do more normal attack damage, but that is a little bit insignificant. Is the skill damage that will do the most. So preferably I would not go with that particular build. Right, now another interesting defensive commander is Charles Martel and Richard. So I talked about pretty much all the epics. I think I covered all the epics. There is Kusunoki as well. I do apologize about Kusunoki, but again, he's garrison and skill, so he can do the same. And again, he's pretty much anti-swarming, so he can pretty much go as well as Sansu and YSG. Alright, Kusunoki, and I suppose now is Charles Martel and Richard, and after that is going to be Constantine. So let's talk about Charles Martel. Oh, this is his infantry. I was wondering what's wrong. Okay, so this is the garrison build for Charles Martel. Yep. So again, this is my garrison build for Charles Martel. You're noticing a very much similarity. The same as the other. I have Kingsguard, I have Impregnable, Nowhere to Turn, and then I went on the defense talent tree. The reason I went on the defense talent tree because it's just too good. Personally, I'm not hyped about medicinal supplies, not at all. Healing factor, I'm starting to find it in defense not very advisable. It grants you too many severely wounded, because you keep bringing troops back, so the enemy can keep pounding troops. But this one is Desperate Elegy, is actually a very nice talent. I'm not saying when army led by this commander is being reduced to 30% strength. I'm not going for that. It's just the additional 10 rage will be increased from each attack. So I've done the math, and the options I could have was for me to go to Undying Fury, which grants me 9 additional rage. So I get 10 additional rage for going there, plus I get stats and a little bit of healing, which might be helpful, might not be helpful. Again, healing can grant you more severely wounded. I took my chances, so this is how I built my Charles Martel. Again, I have Call of the Pack here as well, but if you want to profit from Call of the Pack, your defense must go, or your troops must go under 50% strength. So that can be quite a while until you will start benefiting from Call of the Pack. I'm not so hyped about it. Maybe if I would have to defend an objective like a flag or another building, I would probably not go for Desperate Elegy. Medicinal supplies, health and attack, so there's like 2, 5, 8, there's 10 talents. So that way you can go for Call of the Pack, which is 6, 8, and 2 more in Undying Fury, and that will be 10. So then you still have some rage restoration, because he does need it. He doesn't have any talent that doesn't have any skill that grants him rage. It's only his talents. So any talent that can grant him a little bit of rage for him is very, very helpful. So if you cut off this part from attack until Desperate Elegy, you can put on Call of the Pack and Undying Fury. This can apply to Richard I. Richard I and Charles Martel, they both have garrison, infantry and defense. So both of them, they have the same talent trees. So he can have the same talent path. Right. Who is the next one? City Keeper? Oh no. I'm just joking. Alright, so the next one is Constantine I, and I suppose that he is the last one. Now before I get to Constantine I, I mentioned something about El Cid, I just didn't go. I do admit it that for a very long time I did downgraded El Cid, and not just me, probably, and all the YouTubers. We all downgraded El Cid, and we did it for a very good reason. The only reason that he is really good right now and people are praising him is because his fourth skill is broken. The reason I'm saying that his fourth skill is broken is that whenever he is in a rally or in defending a building, his march goes under 50%. Again, the same story with the Call of the Pack and the other talents that I was talking about. His march goes under 50%, but the garrison is obviously being filled up all the time. And this damage bonus, 25%, it's actually all damage. So this is all damage. It's not just increase troops, increase damage of all troops. It's all damage. So it's including skill damage. So if you attack a garrison with a fresh rally, and there is a El Cid in there who is already been under 50%, they just start with 25% all damage. And if it's YSG or him leading, they also start with 9% increased attack on all troops. So they are doing a tremendously large amount of damage. If you actually want to take them down, you just need to kill troops and have very bad trades just to take down an El Cid, because his fourth skill is broken. So that's why right now he's being praised again, like wow, El Cid, that, and we YouTubers we downgraded grade him so much, and he's actually broken. There's nothing to praise him so much. He's just broken, and that's why he's so good right now. Probably at some time in the future they're gonna figure out about this and they'll fix it out, and then he will be probably trash again. Right, now let's go with the last garrison commander, which is Constantine I. And honestly, I have to say that he is one of the most interesting garrison commander that they have introduced so far. The reason I'm saying is because I haven't seen so much defense and damage reductions in one commander so far. So again, it can reduce up to 40% attack reduction. Obviously, it's going to be the rally, because swarm shouldn't be any problem with any commanders. Damage taken reduced by 10%, and this is for 5 seconds. Now I mentioned in one of my videos that anything that is 3 seconds or lower is not so good. Anything that is 4 seconds or 5 seconds, that is really, really good. This one is for 5 seconds, so this is really, really good. 40% attack reduction, that is significant. 10% damage taken, again very significant. 40% infantry health. Well, you pretty much have mixture of troops. Not sure how important it is, but obviously having more infantry will gonna have an impact on your garrison. Garrison attack bonus and then watchtower. So watchtower is city specific, but still have a garrison attack bonus 10%. That is really good. But here comes the golden apple, if you want to call it like that. Skill damage taken reduction by 40%. But obviously he has decreased healing effect received, so he's not a very good pair with another healer. He has a healing factor by 15,000. I'm not sure how exactly it will work. We will find out soon enough. But skill damage taken reduction, this is the golden apple. This is the golden apple, and you guys gonna see why I'm gonna say this is the golden apple once we get to his talents. And when you expertise him, that's for entire garrison. Troops attack 15%, defense 5%. That's huge. That's just huge. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. So, in my opinion, I think he's the best primary defense commander there is in the game right now. So let's go into his talents. I haven't built his picture yet, I do apologize. So he has a static of 40% skill damage reduction. Now we already know that from Impregnable you can get another 15% skill damage reduction, and then you have loose formation for another 9%. So why not go up to like 64% skill damage reduction, you know, because it's fun. That's pretty huge if you want to ask me. 64% skill damage reduction, that's pretty huge. He has a support talent tree which makes him very interesting with Rejuvenate. So he's not the type of commander that will be good at repelling enemies. So what I'm trying to say is that is a difference when you use a support commander or a skill commander. Skill commander does damage. So you put two skill commanders in garrison, and that's a lot of damage because they just help each other. You can read the skill talent tree. They just help each other by doing a lot of damage. Constantine, he's just tanky, so he can just take damage and take less damage. He's not actually dealing anything, so he doesn't have talents or he doesn't have skills that actually deal so much damage. You might thinking, well, I'm gonna put YSG a second in command, you know, AoE damage, a lot of skill damage, you know, it's gonna work, it's gonna a lot of damage. You don't have no skill tree to support YSG to boost his damage. So I'm personally not 100% sure if YSG might be the best choice, or you know, for defense. Obviously a lot of testing needs to be done, but again, he's very defensive. He'll definitely be very useful, but again, maybe a Charles Martel as second in command, because since he's very defensive, you might just do a lot of counter-attack damage, and Charles Martel just has 30% counter-attack damage. And then again, he has infantry health bonus, he has a shield to reduce your severely wounded with the primary shield. So doesn't sound anything bad at all for that combination, but again, you'll just be a very tanky unit, you know, you'll be like a turtle. So the talent build that I would do for him, for Constantine, would obviously be Impregnable, Nowhere to Turn, and King's Guard. I would definitely get King's Guard. As hard as it sounds, double-headed axe, I would definitely get this to try to boost at least his normal attack as much as I can, because he's a very defensive commander. Most likely I would take Call of the Pack as well, or Undying Fury, and then obviously you want to get loose formation as well. Now there's various options how you want to build him for defense, because for example, you can go full defense tree with this guy as well, so you can be even more tanky having divine favor. Again, this is a 10 chance to receive a damage absorbing shield, and if you want to pair him with Charles Martel, that might just interact one shield with another, and only the strongest one applies. So you might just cancel divine favor with Charles Martel unless you pair him with someone else. But again, this needs a lot of testing. As a first review, Impregnable, Nowhere to Turn, King's Guard, Double-Headed Axe, Undying Fury, Call of the Pack, Rejuvenate, and Loose Formation. So at least this. There is another option, but that would require probably way less infantry talent to get emergency protection. But this, I'm very skeptical of investing that many talent points. You can get an additional 15% skill damage reduction. So we are already at 64. Now you can add another 15. That can go up to 79% skill damage reduction. That is huge. commanders with skill damage will probably hit you less than it will hit you with normal attacks. But again, this only works, has a 50% chance. You'll get an additional 15% skill damage reduction for the next 3 seconds when you take skill damage. So you need to take skill damage. So this one would only work, or you would only benefit from it, if the primary commander does skill damage on you, and then this one goes in. So the secondary commander, when it does skill damage on you, you'll have a little bit of reduction. So I find it a little bit useless. So unless you're getting swarmed in and you get a lot of skill damage from multiple commanders, I find it pretty much useless in defense, emergency protection. And honestly, who would want to swarm a Constantine with all these skill damage and defensive options that he has? You never know. So yeah, that's pretty much how I will do Constantine. I'll probably, again, I will do his spotlight, and then I'll show like a proper talent build for Constantine when I do exactly the math of the talents. Right, yo. Now, as I mentioned, this is not going to be one of the short series. There was a lot to talk about it, and there's a lot to explain. So I hope you guys find this video helpful. Until next time, this is your boy Legend Ronnie signing off. Peace out, yo, and take care.